Oh, this thing is burning the bejesus out of me. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to test out this wonderful hangy thing of the car, and I'd like to know how much sound the mic muffles with the new additions and the new tools for filming. However, this, ladies and gentlemen, is my Lexus GS300. This is a 99, and she currently has 272,000 miles on her. Oh, that's funny. Wonderful social distancing happening there by the ice cream container. Which is then funny, because I could almost swear there's something that says no soliciting before you come in here. But tomato, tomato. Rules. What are those? So anyway, she has 272,000 miles on her. The history of me in this car. I purchased this car while I was stationed in Idaho, at Mountain Home Air Force Base. Go Gunfighters. And this car was gotten a few moments after I came back from spending some time in the desert. Now, it wasn't really a bad stint in the desert. It was my first deployment that I volunteered for. And it was in the country of what? Qatar? Qatar. Qatar is the country that I spent my first 5 months away from the United States in the desert. And then I came back here and, you know, all was well in the world. And we carried on accordingly. And I went out to a wonderful dealership and got this car. At the time that I got this car had 57? I think it had 57,000 miles on it. So I've essentially put 200 and... you can round up. I'm rounding up drastically. Let's say I put 250... 220? It's 220? Let's say I put 200,000 plus miles on the car. Yes. What in the piss? Why is there so many people out here? Oh, that's right. It's Georgia. We're open for business. Yeah, we weren't really closed anyway, but there we go. So, what's gonna happen here within this wonderful segment that I have planned for this vehicle is I'd like to refresh this vehicle since it's a 98, and it's coming up on the time period where I will no longer have to do ridiculous emissions to keep it up to snuff for what the children. Anyway, it's coming up to being old enough to where I don't have to go take emissions for this car anymore, because emissions, it's just some tedious thing that no one likes to do. Alright, and this is also a standing problem with trying to leave the goddamn house. Like, oh yeah, look at this. There is literally continuous traffic. They might need to put a light there, but we'll see how that goes. I got this car after I came back from wonderful Qatar. After coming back from Qatar, I basically impulse buyed it because the other car that I had was a Saturn. I think it was a L200. Don't judge me. Now, I had a numerous amount of people in this mechanic shop that I was working in that were like, oh, you have a great car, man, solid, what would they call it? Good, safe to buy, because military members have a tendency, especially young ones at the time, of going out and buying Camaros for 20% interest, because at 19 or 20 you don't have good interest, you don't have any established credit, and you're not paying for a car cash, and you know, and the dealerships just love to see someone coming that they know has a guaranteed income, and they can screw because they don't have any sense. That kind of sums up your first car purchase in military terms, especially given the time frame that it was and people not really informing you on how to manage your credit and what have you. But this car has treated me well, and I've driven this car from Idaho to New York, and from California to New York, then from New York to Florida. Many trips to Florida. And then I've driven from Connecticut to Las Vegas. And listen, she's always pulled through. So, this car, for the more part, is like a family member that consistently exploits my bank account whenever something breaks. However, is always reliable enough to take you through long periods of time until something breaks. The things that need to be done on this car. I'm 1000% certain I need to change the shocks, because the last time I changed the shocks was about 150,000 miles ago. I have some BC coilovers on here, and I'm fairly certain that I'll make an entire video in regards to my entire assessment of those, but tomato, tomato. I'm going to need to repair my exhaust system, and I need to do a timing belt, water pump, valve cover, and while I'm in there, I might be in my best interest to change what is that? Numerous other wear items and other seals, just to ensure that while I'm in there, I don't need to come back. What I would like to do is pull the engine out, make the bay pretty again, and put it back, so that when I get to the point where I want to paint the car, or repaint the car, we'll be here and nothing too crazy will happen. But let's see how that goes, because like I said, nothing on this car seems to be cheap. And just like how the wonderful sales pitch of, hey, LS is real cheap, it's pretty much what people think. It's like, oh, if you're doing the work yourself, it's cheap. It's cheaper. Cheaper. The minor distinctions define something. Cheaper. What no one ever talks about is what happens within the cheaper adventure that could add up and make it lose your hairline. But yeah, as you're here taking a ride with me, realize that you're also taking a ride with me to learn, whoa, what was that? Oh, that was the level. To learn what's going on with the car itself, and to essentially just be briefed on what's happening. It's like nothing too weird. I'm not telling you to purchase anything, and I'm not going to ask you to buy anything either. Just like, I will ask you to like, comment, and subscribe, because it's apparently good for the algorithm, and I'm not doing that enough, which is hampering the growth of the channel, which might transition to me petitioning you to buy things. The other part of all of this that needs to be spoken about is, essentially, I'm going to show you how I've been neglectfully not taking care of this car. I'm certain someone would want to beat me with a sledgehammer, and there goes somebody riding a bicycle with a flat tire. I don't know why, but we're not here to judge, hopefully. And if you are here to judge, just laugh at me accordingly, but remember to click the like button. Other than that, I'm trying to evaluate also if the mic muffles the sound enough to where when I put it in the E30 for these drives, I could kind of expect that this thing will work. This car is the equivalent of a Toyota Camry of the late 80s and early 90s. In theory, if you take care of it, it should last forever. In theory. But what would be even more phenomenal is if someone from Toyota or Lexus sees this video and feels like they would like to open up their warehouse with all the parts that they have from Japan, so I can put an Aristo engine in here. And of course this is going to be wonderful for your marketing department or whatever it is, because for some reason I think a multi-billion-dollar corporation gives two shit about anything my stupid ass is doing. One could hope. Now, other than that, I'm just here, going for a little stroll. It's like, engine mounts, transmission mounts. I can already think the gimbal from the stupid, what is that? The drive shaft needs to be changed. Don't be that guy. Let's go! But other than that, what needs to be said here is, I love this car. This car has been through many things with me. And we're not going to really go into that, because I don't feel like having that argument for having that conversation. But this car has been through thick and thin. It's basically been on each coast of the United States and been to Canada. I've driven this car to Scarborough, Canada to go visit my aunts. And one of them that recovered from cancer, but there's two of them up there. So we'll see exactly how this goes as it progresses. Wind noise! And we're basically using this to evaluate how it's going to sound in the E30 with the straight exhaust to muffler for when you're driving and how much louder that will be. But other than that, thanks for checking this out, and I'll promptly show you about the side effects of having somebody run into my car like it's a bumper car while driving straight in New York. Thank you, gentlemen. Remember, this is going to be a series. We're going to be doing things. Peace.